on Divorce Court today. Unicorns and rainbows are a great way to start an infatuation. But Marquise and Paula are finding that a marriage requires more than that. 3 kids plus broken trust are a big challenge for the young couple. Marquise Fields and Paula Fields have brought their dispute for Judge Lynn Toler to resolve. Testimony in Divorce Court starts now.
Mr. Fields, I'm going to start with you since you're the one that brought the action. And I know what you want now. You want out and you want certain items when you get out. But tell me a little bit about the beginning of your relationship, how it started out.
Well, Judge, the beginning of our relationship, it was beautiful. Everything was magical. Like, we were inseparable.
Magical?
Yes. When we met.
Tell me about the magic.
when we met, we spent every single day together. We would go to parks, we went to concerts, we went to movies, everything. We found out we were having a baby in October. We were moving kind of quick.
That's magic.
The reason I asked, because you said everything was beautiful. Unicorns and rainbows. And I've never seen a guy write down unicorns and rainbows, so I thought I would ask to see if you would go back down that lane. So, everything was fine.
Yeah.
And then you found out she was pregnant.
Yeah, I was excited about the pregnancy.
You know, the way you say that, and both of you in your papers, it's like I caught a cold. It's like you didn't have anything to do with it. It happened to me, you know, irrespective, without respect to my behavior. You guys had unprotected sex and got pregnant. So yeah. I need you to own that in the active voice because you can control that.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
I was going to school at the time, so I felt it was my responsibility to go out and get a job so that I could
Which is a wonderful instinct.
Yeah, so I could support my family. Okay. We moved in.
So how long were you together before she got pregnant?
A month.
Really?
Yes.
Mrs. Fields, how you gonna have? I mean, unprotected. It's both of your faults. I'm not gonna. But usually the problem lands on the woman because we're the one having the baby. When things blow up, we're alone with the babies. Not always, but often. What made you not, you know, just wrap your arms around birth control?
It wasn't like that. When we first started talking, he has a baby outside of our marriage, and I had a baby outside of our marriage. He's a wonderful father. I can never take that away from him. He's very dedicated to his son. He does what he has to do, you know, the whole 9 yards. So it wasn't so much of let's get together and have a baby, but when it happened, it was like I was okay with it. We were excited. We were very excited. And things were going very well. When
it happened, I was okay with it.
Yeah.
This is a big deal, making a new human being. I don't understand the casualness of that.
It wasn't like, oh, well, like, we're pregnant, we'll just deal with it. It was more so like, okay, we're pregnant, we're going to do what we have to do. Like he said, he was going to school. He stopped going to school. He went ahead and got a job. I was working at the time, but it was part-time. So it wasn't like I was making, you know, a bunch of money or anything like that. So he did what he had to do. He kicked in. He took me out of my parents' house. He got us a place.
So it was unicorns and rainbows for you, too?
Unicorns and rainbows. Everything's good.
When did it start to go south?
I guess it would have to have been when I was pregnant.
What happened?
I was mean. I don't blame hormones. He said I was mean, though. I was a nag. I was a problem. Like, everything was an issue. If it wasn't my way, it was no way. Let him tell it.
Do you recall it like that? Do you recall being a little cranky?
I had days. But I wasn't like that, like, all 10 months. I didn't have that. I wasn't like that to me.
10 months? If it was 10 months, you should have been cranky.
She was late.
She was late. I'd have been cranky, too.
She was late. They threatened to induce me and everything.
Mr. Fields, you tell me what she was like when she was pregnant.
Well, she was nagging a lot. Pretty much every time we got into a dispute or an argument, it would be her way or no way. Like, for instance, one time I can recall we got into an argument over someone she was friends with that I felt she shouldn't be friends with. And she felt like I shouldn't feel that way because...
Well, what was your objection to the friendship? Let's start there.
Well, I would say is the way their conversation goes, Like,
was this a male friend?
Yeah, it was a male friend.
And you thought they were too intimate, too friendly?
I think he was too friendly to her, but she wouldn't shut it down like I would have wanted her to.
Okay. All right. That's interesting that you say that, because in her response to your petition, she says you actually cheated right after she had a baby.
He cheated while I was pregnant.
Oh, while you were...
I didn't find out till after I had the baby.
You didn't find out till afterwards. Is that accurate?
That's true.
Okay. What happened and how did you find out about it?
I found out because after I had the baby, I went back, you're 6 months pap smear, whatever. They did my blood work, vitals, everything. She left me a voicemail. It was like a confidential voicemail. There's nothing coming in and out of there except for messages between my doctor and I. She told me everything was good, your blood work was fine, you're not overweight. Well, you could afford to lose pounds, whatever, but everything was fine. Then she told me your pap smear came back with a sexually transmitted infection. Sexually transmitted infections only come from when you have sex. From, she was explaining to me, when I got in touch with her, she explained to me, you need to talk to your sexual partners. And I'm like, no, I only have one. Like, there can't be partners. So that's when everything started to get exposed. I found out that I had my baby in June. I found out he had cheated months prior when I was pregnant. In the meantime, I'm breastfeeding. He didn't even know he had it.
Mr. Fields, did you bring home a disease not only to your wife, but to your newborn child?
Yes,
through
I did
infidelity?
Yes.
So you weren't even practicing safe sex with the side chick?
She wasn't a side chick. It was a chick that he met at his job. It was a one-night thing. They didn't have a relationship. I guess it was just...
It was just a one-night thing?
Yeah.
With no protection?
No protection.
Holy moly, what is wrong with you? Come on!
I honestly thought she was cheating on me because I had...
What's that got to do with dipping your pen in a well you're not familiar with?
Next, will cheating and retaliation tear this couple apart? Divorce isn't easy. If you need help with your breakup, call toll-free 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com. Become a fan at facebook.com/divorcecourt. Divorce Court, real relationships, raw emotion. Testimony continues now.
All I'm saying is, you gotta protect yourself. Don't let life just happen to you. You need to drive the boat. Don't just hang out on a raft and see where you end up. Cover it up. Make sure things that you're not ready to happen or don't want to happen. Y'all with me?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Now I fussed you about that. Enough. Mrs. Fields, tell me where the marriage is now. You've had the child. You've caught him being unfaithful. Do you still think he's unfaithful? And what are the current difficulties that you have?
Currently, of course, I still have my suspicions because once your trust is broken, it's broken. The problems that I have now, as far as it's not so much they created insecurity, they built on his insecurity because he already felt like I was cheating on him. So with that...
Hang on, give me a second. Why did you think she was cheating on you? What gave you that inkling?
I was going through the house and I found her notebook, and one of her journal entries was talking about how she cheated on me a couple months before.
Mrs. Fields, do you have a journal in which you
Yes.
Memorialized your infidelity?
Yes, but it was more so how I felt afterwards because I thought that when I did it, I would be like victorious, like I would feel great, like, yes, I did it back and now we'll see what you do, like kind of thing, but it turned out to be...
So it was a revenge cheat. You thought you'd get back at him for what he did to you and you would feel everything was even?
Not at first. At first, it was more so like, I can take care of myself financially. I can, like me and the kids, I'm fine with that. I'm the food, I'm the house, I'm the man. Like, I just felt like I had it all. Like, I was good. And then my problem was I didn't get emotionally what I wanted from him. Like, that's
so you felt you were holding down the house, doing the woman's job, the man's job, and... Physically,
I could take care of myself. Financially, I could take care of myself. Emotionally, I could not. That's what I wanted from him. And I wasn't getting it from him. And so the guy and I, we never built a relationship, but we talked, like I let him know how I felt at the time because I can't talk to him about everything. I can't come to him and say, you know, I'm just really tired. Because he's like, well, what's wrong? Well, what's wrong?
I got to tell you this. You cannot feed a man your independence like that and expect him to come open and caring with you. I felt like I had it on. I was physically and emotionally, I could take care of myself. You keep feeding your man, you're not worth anything to me. You don't have value to me, really don't need you. You keep feeding him that. You're just chipping away at who he is, and he's not going to give you the love and care that you need because you're telling him he's worthless. You're telling him he's worthless.
When divorce court continues, is a full-time dad a full-time job?
Do you think it's right for Paula to expect unicorn and rainbow feelings to last forever with Marquise? Call 1-800-282-1991 to vote now and see if America agrees with your opinion. You'll also receive some valuable offers.
If you would like your case heard on divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com and join the conversation on Twitter at Divorce Court. Real relationships, raw emotion. Divorce Court continues.
Mr. Fields, you know, are you all right over there? Because I'm hooping and hollering and fussing about how you feel and didn't ask you if I got it right or not. So did I get it right?
Yeah, you got it right.
Do you see your husband over there?
Yes.
You see how he feels?
Yes.
You know who made him feel that way, right?
I did.
You did, yeah. Do you have anything you want to say, Mr. Fields? But if you want to.
I just felt like, it's like you said with her shoving the independence down my throat, it's even worse. I feel even worse because as a man, I feel like it's my responsibility to be able to provide, not only financially, not only physically, but emotionally, and I need to do that not just for her, but for myself and my household. But like hearing that and then not working, I'm not working. I'm just I'm a stay-at-home dad.
Well, you working. If you a stay-at-home dad, you working. Don't get that one twisted. That has value. Now, Mrs. Fields, I'm gonna go to you. I'm not fussing, just coming over here. You say you're upset about the amount and the character of your fighting and that you're concerned about the fact that you're fighting in front of the children. Is that true?
It's a roller coaster because we'll be fine. Like we'll get over stuff and we'll, you know, life will go on and we'll coast and we'll be good. And then it'll be like you said, like there'll be something I don't agree with or something I don't understand. It blows up. For example.
Now it doesn't blow up. Somebody blows up, and I want to know who it is.
I don't spaz out. It's like I'll get quiet. It's like I'll corner myself. I'll try to be quiet. I don't want to talk. Just leave me alone. Babe, what's wrong? I need to talk to you. What's going on? I don't want to talk. Like, I'm not going to be silent forever. I'm a woman. I'm not going to be silent forever. I just need this time where I can get my thoughts together and I can say what I feel to you. Right now, it's not that time. So then you want to keep edging me, pushing me.
Picking at you.
So
okay.
it's not that I'm like, you know, like, you shouldn't, like, just leave me alone. I don't go through the house tearing stuff up or things like that, but it'll become an argument. So verbally, we're just fussing. And I'm not getting to him, and he's not getting to me, because I didn't want to hear you to begin with. So
Mr. Fields, what is your vision about how the arguments start and why you're arguing so much?
It's just like, I don't know how to communicate myself, like, correctly, like off the top of my head, but immediately, like when something goes down, I'm the peacemaker in the relationship. I want to try to patch things up. Like I want to address problems before they become something bigger. And that's why I press on her so much. Like, what's wrong? Talk to me. We could work through this together, because that's what I think a marriage is. We're supposed to be able to.
Absolutely right. When you argue, is there any tussling and fussing, pushing and shoving, or is it all verbal?
There has been a few cases in which we tussle, one of which, I think this was when I found out she was cheating, when I was trying to grab my things to get out, and she was trying to stop me, and we tussled, and we were actually tussling around our bedroom, which resulted in a broken drawer and then a hole in our closet.
Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Why didn't you let him? He's angry, he's hurt. Why don't you let him leave?
You can't leave.
You were wrong.
Yes.
He couldn't handle it. He didn't want to talk to you. Why can't he go out the door?
The thing is, when I came home, that's not the intent that I came home with. He called me at work and was trying to explain, babe, I don't feel good. Mind you, I work night shift, so it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, babe, I don't feel good. My stomach hurt, my head hurt, which is frequent because he does have, some kind of pains or whatever. So I'm like, all right, fine. Do I need to come home? Let me know. No, babe, it's okay. Hang up with him at work. So he calls back maybe like 20, 30 minutes later. Babe, I think I do need to go to the hospital. So I'm like, fine. So I told my managers and whoever, and they let me go home. When I got home, that's when this came out. It wasn't about him going to the hospital. He called me home under the intentions that he was sick or ill. I'm thinking I'm going to go home. My mindset is we're going to the hospital. When I got home, that's not what it was.
I understand what you're telling me.
Judge Lynn TOLER'S ruling next. Divorce Court. Judge Lynn TOLER'S ruling right now.
You still love her, don't you?
Yeah, I love her, like, with all of me. Like, even after that, like, when I found out about it, I cried to her and I apologized for cheating on her again, because I know it was because I cheated and I started it all, which is why she did.
You're not responsible for her cheat. I'm telling you that right now. She's responsible for her cheat, okay? Don't get confused by that. Mrs. Fields, you still love him?
Absolutely.
And you got kids together?
Yes, we had one together. I had one before him, and he had a son before me.
But you got all three of them in the house?
We're all in one house now.
You're all in one house now. You guys were asking me for some nonsense financial stuff, all this kind of stuff. I don't want to talk about it. I want to talk about you two, because I think you're a solvable problem. There's one important thing you both must start to do, is make yourself the subject of every sentence you utter. In other words, it doesn't blow up. Then there was a pregnancy. He wasn't giving me that, so there was a cheat. You do what you do. You make decisions about who you are. Don't speak in the passive voice anymore like stuff is happening to you. You determine what happens to you. You, for instance, you need to treat him better. Period. End of story. Of this, I could do it on my own, blase. That's a recipe for disaster. It's arrogant, it's rude, and it's destructive to who he is. He's at home taking care of your children. Whether or not he's making a paycheck, that doesn't make him less of a person. I know 20 years ago, we women were up and down, screaming and hollering, talking about, what I do has value. What I do has value. Then we take over their job and point right back at them and say, what you do doesn't have value. You can't do that. You honor and respect him. How you doing, Mr. Fields? How are you over there?
I'm all right.
Don't let somebody else's failures define who you are. Don't let the fact that you're not a quick communicator, and I know what it's like, and it's like this in a lot of houses. We women, we can roll off, a whole bucket full of words, and you guys are just like opening up the can, just like, hang on, baby, let me get to them. Yeah. And just because we can speak faster and quicker doesn't mean we're better communicators. Because if he can't hear what we say, and if we can't understand what he needs, we have failed to communicate, no matter how many words we use. The most important thing in a conversation is timing. I got a book, Making Marriage Rules. There's a whole chapter on this, but I'm gonna explain it to you quick. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna explain it to you quickly. The most important thing about communication is timing. You have the conversation when the other person can hear you. That's when you table it and then you talk about it and you decide to talk about it. And when you do, the first order of business is to listen. And then when you listen, you repeat what the other person said to you to make sure you got it right. And it also shows respect. So when you wait, you're not mad and you got your thoughts together. And then you roll from there. But there's a whole chapter on it because communication is deep and it's difficult. You read it, you do it, you try it. If you still can't work it out, you can come back. But right now, there will be no recovering.
Marquise and Paula are following the judge's orders and are happier in their marriage. Post a comment or submit your case at divorcecourt.com or call toll-free 1-877-311-2222. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Divorce Court.